Hi, everyone.
Hi, Linda.
I'm working on fumes today, so it's going to be a fun meeting. We have an hour. We have to be off at 7 o'clock.
I have to go to another meeting at 7 at the
Okay.
Township building.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably why we have to be off. Okay. We are going to call this meeting to order. So your motion. Anyone?
Yeah, I make a motion to get this meeting started.
Second,
Okay. Approval of the minutes from November 24th. Did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes?
Yep.
yep,
Are the four of us good with the minutes? Since no one else is here.
I am good with them.
I'm good.
I'm fine with them.
I don't know who takes them. They're just,
All right, can we have a motion to approve the minutes from November 24th, 2021?
I'll make a motion to approve the
I
minutes.
make a motion
I already
All
did.
right,
to approve the
Alan was
minutes.
first. We need a second. Paul, can you second?
I'll second it.
Okay, the minutes are
No
approved.
problem.
No, we got to vote. We got to vote.
Got to vote? Oh, sorry. All
Yeah,
right. I
technicality.
thought that's what okay. Do we all agree? Do we all approve the minutes from November 24th?
Yes.
Raise your hand, yes.
Yes.
Raise your hand. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep,
4-0.
the ayes have it.
Okay, you're on mute.
Next.
There you go.
Who's on mute?
You were,
Oh.
but now you're not.
Who, me? Oh, I don't know. Okay, end of year review. We're only voting on the 2020 end of year review, from what I understand. Oh, Jonah. Hi, Jonah.
Hi.
You just missed the
Minutes.
approval of the minutes. We're good. All right, so you're in time for the end of year review.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments on can we go back or not?
Not at this time.
Okay, all right.
No, I've read them a couple of times. We've made a couple of revisions. And as I mentioned to you, there's no sense in playing around with the 2021 yet, but we can take a look at those in January or February. But I think you really did a good job on them, Linda. And, I made a couple of small changes and, I'm certainly ready to vote to approve them. I don't know about the other members.
All right. Everyone, are we all?
Yeah, they looks good to me. I got in my edits and so I'm happy.
Everyone got
Me
it?
too. I'm the same way.
All right, so can I have a vote? Do we all approve or who approves?
For the 2020 year-end
2020.
review, I make a
Oh.
motion to
I
approve.
second.
Okay.
All right.
who made the motion?
All the guys have
Call the
it?
question.
My
Yay.
wife is having trouble
Question.
catching up with all this stuff here. Who made the motion?
Paul did and
Paul
I
did.
seconded it.
And Alan seconded. Okay. And now we have a vote, right? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ah,
Putting up my right hand and you can't see it on the screen, so I guess I have to do my left hand.
Okay. So tomorrow I will get out the November 24th minutes and the end of year 2020, and we'll deal with 2021 in January. Okay, tree ordinance for all those who are there listening in, having so much fun last night. Okay, the tree ordinance. Jim
that's
did a
an
very good
understatement. That's an
Jim
understatement.
Jim did a very good job at putting together the summary or the AC's formal response. Has everyone had a chance to review it?
Yes.
The response or the full ordinance?
Well, both technically.
Yes.
but
Well,
the
actually-
response.
Yeah, actually, there's three parts to it. The first part is the written response, and this is probably the second or third time I've sent this out. And this is the same response that was sent to the Board of Supervisors before the meeting last night. Secondly is the plant list with the new additions that the EAC and zoning has been working on for a while. And I certainly took a look at that a couple of times, and all the changes have been incorporated in this list. And the last one is the revised Seldo language. That's basically the language in the ordinance itself. And what the EAC did in their revision is eliminated the note about 20% plant inclusion, but we did change all the cultivars, to reflect a higher number. Let me give you an example. The way it was written before, they lowered, let's say, if it was 2.5 to 3, they lowered the cultivar size down to 2 inches. But then they removed the top number of 3. So we just added the 3 back. We have no problem at all with the lower number, but there's no reason not to include the upper number as well. So anyway, these are the 3 items. Although, the motions were made and the change will be advertised as per last night, it's still important for us to officially have these documents, I think, when we're going to be moving forth with this, whatever happens down the road. So unless, hopefully everybody's had a chance to look at these things. You've had them for a while, you've had them before. And, I would certainly entertain any discussion on those, on these items. And then hopefully let's get a vote on these and officially approve them. So again, anybody, I'm sure you've all taken a look at these, any discussion, I can hopefully answer any of the questions or concerns that any of our EAC members might have.
I'm very familiar with it and I'm good with it. I've read it a couple times.
All right, well, if everybody is in agreement, then, I would prefer not to make the motion since I did most of the writing on this. So if somebody else makes a motion to approve, these 3 items as part of the ESC official response to the tree-related ordinance changes.
And it's dated
Forward, so-
December 12th. We should probably say the date of it.
Of what, the items?
Your recommendations, don't you have a date on it?
Yeah, I think there's
It says
put out
revised
several-
12/12.
I think I do. Hold on a
Yeah,
second.
so we should
It
reference.
should have a date on it,
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, it says 12/12/21.
Mhm.
All right, yeah, one of them says, okay,
You had earlier ones out.
12. I don't have the documents right in front of me, and I have to get on the computer to get the exact dates. But does anybody have it in front of them?
Yeah, 12/12.
12/12.
12.
Okay, so what's the date of the written response?
12/12, December 12th.
Okay, and what's the date of the plant list with additions? I actually had 9. Well, I don't think that matters all that much. We had it at the last night's meeting, so I think the date I had on that was 9/15/21, which was the,
No, the plant revision list is 12/15.
okay, 12/15/21. And then what about the revised Seldo language?
The one you put out?
Yeah, the one that, deletes the BOS request for the 20% non-natives.
I see in the title that it's December 13th, but I don't know
Okay.
if that's the actual date.
I don't think well, I guess the actual date is important, but why don't we just go with December 13th then? So with the specific dates on those, I would, entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Well, somebody's got to make a motion, right? Okay.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Jonah.
I propose a motion.
Seconded.
We need a second.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, so that takes care of that.
Unanimous. Now, I had a question. When will this be published for review? I guess Dave Truelove's redoing it. Suzanne, do you know when it's going to be in the paper? and
You don't
available?
know. You don't know.
You
As
don't
soon as
know?
possible.
Okay, and then it'll go to the planning commission first, Art Planning Commission,
That's my understanding.
and then it'll go back to the supervisors.
Yep.
All right,
But doesn't it go to the Bucks County Planning Commission as well, Suzanne?
Yes, Jim.
Oh, okay. All right, but we don't know any of the timing as far as that's concerned yet, correct?
Well, typically, they're published as soon as possible. I have not seen it published, so I don't believe it was published today. So
I assume that Dave Trulove has to like spruce up the language and all that kind of stuff, so.
well, we want to make sure that we capture the language you guys put in about like the calibers, the tree widths and heights and shrub heights.
Right.
Make sure we get all that in there and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said, that's, there's a lot of, work as far as that's concerned. And the question is, we were just curious. We're not trying to rush up the process or anything else. We just want to know approximately when these things are going to happen.
So, I mean, if you're asking me what the law is, right, it can't be voted on again until it's been published for 20 days.
Okay.
It will not appear on any agenda till at least January. The first meeting is the first Tuesday of the new year, right? The first meeting's always on a Tuesday for some reason. And then we go back to the regular Wednesday schedule.
All right, well, how does the advertising work? I should know this because I was involved several years ago with a lot of the ordinances that we put into LMT. But the next step is that I guess Dave writes it up and then we publish it in the paper, which is, I guess, called the advertising portion. And then after that, it goes to our planning commission, and then it goes to the Bucks County Planning Commission.
I don't know if they go subsequently. I think it could go to both planning commissions at the same time, but I can get an answer for you on that.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Whenever, it's not time sensitive, but whenever you can find that out, if you'd let us know, that would be nice, Suzanne.
Of course.
all right.
I see Jim Majewski's on. Jim.
I don't think he's on. I think what you're seeing is the cameras. That's how they're labeled because, there might be people in the audience that people can go to the township and participate
Oh, I
live.
see.
So I think that's his laptop.
Oh, okay. In terms of the invasive species ordinance, I did speak to him after the meeting last night. Him and I still need to work on things on that language. So that's still ongoing. And right now there's no update other than that. All right. So that brings us to tree planting in 2022. In one of the emails, I sent some potential sites, and then Jim Bray sent some potential sites. So I don't know if you guys want to talk about that now, or do you want to wait till January, or how do we want to proceed?
Well, firstly, I forgot to send one to Suzanne, so I rectified that about 15 minutes before the meeting with a little note that the only excuse I have, Suzanne, is the onset of senility, okay? But you were sent one, okay, for the tour that.
I have accepted your apology, responded to your email, and I'm just so ecstatic that you have my name right 4 times so far, that there's no finality possible. So
Suzanne, don't push it.
Can we go down the list, at least Jim and I put together just really briefly, because I know we don't have much
Absolutely.
time. But the Reagan track, that one, I'm trying to find out from our township engineer, Andy, about it and whether that basin has been included in the MS4 pollution prevention control project, because we suggested that in our comments. Because if it's included in that, then it would be definitely a good idea to put trees in there after they take out the low flow channels. But it kind of depends if it's part of the MS4 plan. So I'll find out about that in the next week or two, I think. He's going to send me the revised plan.
Yeah, because I mean, the way I understood it, we can't do anything to that basin until the low flow channels are taken out,
Cement
right?
channels, right. Yeah, because that would get in the way. So find out about that and whether that's a possibility for next year.
That's the one over by Marsville?
It's where Big Oak and West Ferry Road meet. The
Yeah.
Mormon church is right
Yep,
there nearby. It's part of a 6.5 acre open space tract, the township.
Yeah, so my memory is that when we discussed it initially, there was confusion by the township as to whether or not that was actually within the available MS4 program. Alan rightfully insisted it was, and I believe he was ruled correct. So I do think the answer you'll get from Andy is that it's in. So hopefully that's accurate.
Yeah, so if it is, then that could be either an EAC or a township tree planting spot for next year. So we shall see.
Yeah, I might add also that when Ellen and I were touring there, firstly, that was a 6.5 acre open space tract that really, really pleased a lot of people in the area, because when we were out there, people who lived by were actually coming out thanking Lower Makefield Township, because they didn't know, the neighbors there, what was going to happen with that piece of ground. It was just one of those things that Lower Makefield did that really pleased a lot of the neighbors. But when we looked at it, this is really an ideal place for some naturalization plantings. So I hope we can move forward with the master plan pretty quickly.
So, I mean, I don't want to interrupt the discussion per se, but isn't part of what you guys are going to be involved with next year is with working with Andy on the naturalization of the basins that are in the plan? So I don't just mean like this, you're talking about planting trees, right? But like, as we had talked about when Andy came, right, that maybe there could be a 1-2 punch that you guys would work on the naturalization and do it in such a way that it could also qualify as, a habitat, bird habitat or something, right? To really leverage your expertise in. So I don't, want to lose sight of that, because you guys, this is already pretty ambitious. And I think you have a lot, that you could be involved with.
Well, this would probably be the only basin we'd plant trees in, though. I don't think the other ones we will, but yeah.
But even just helping them design them, right? That was my hope, that you guys would really help.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll see what's in the plan, because we haven't seen the final plan yet.
Okay.
Help out. At Makefield Park.
We can't hear you, Linda.
Still can't.
Are you pressing on your keyboard by accident?
Oh,
There you go.
I don't know what's the matter. My computer's messed up.
It's also working on fumes.
I think so. Both of us need to go to bed soon.
Makefield Park has a lot of places for trees, but it might be difficult for the EAC to do it because the tree planting would be spread out. And Linda, you'd be running back and forth trying to supervise this. You'd go nuts. We'd probably do better in a little smaller area where you could observe things better. And all of us observe things. And the Makefield Golf Course, where they wanted to plant trees along the road, Woodside Road, there's an electrical line, telephone lines right above it. So that could be an issue for that spot.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Suzanne.
I was thinking of some of the native dogwoods that are, pretty
smaller trees.
Right.
But yeah, that's just an issue for that place. We got to remember.
Yeah,
Well,
when we
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
when we looked at the Highlands, the first question that really came into mind were the overhead power lines. And I think we do have some specific wording in our ordinance now about the appropriate plants that should, be placed under lines like that. And Suzanne's right, the Cornus Florida, the Native American dogwood would probably be an ideal choice there. But just a second, going back to Makefield that Alan just briefly touched on. we could basically be planting there. That's a huge, huge area. And we're talking now about 14 locations. Each location has, just several trees, but we could be planting there for the next 10 years. So, and without even impacting the sports fields. So again, in the future, plenty of area down there for trees in the future.
The one thought I had for the Highlands property, if we do proceed with that one, is that one would go to an outside contractor, just because we don't want to have volunteers along the road.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it can't be known yet, meaning there is plans to build a bike path there, some connectivity. So that would have to, you wouldn't want to plant them and then have it all torn up and the roots impacted by that. So that probably would have some work that would have to be,
Yeah, also on the Makefield Highlands golf course, when Alan and I were there was a design feature that really just almost leaped out at us. The whole entranceway into the golf course, there's nothing on either side, and that would be a wonderful place for a formal alley of trees with probably roughly the same species bordering both sides. When you've seen those formal alleys, like for instance, up in Memorial Garden, they're magnificent. I mean, it's almost like walking through a cathedral. It's really, really a wonderful site. So that's something that we might want to keep in mind for that site as well.
What were those trees, Jim?
It's called, Paul, the French call it a formal allée, A-L-L-E-E. And basically what it is you don't space the trees real far apart, and they tend to grow into each other, and they tend to form even at the top a canopy. And it's almost like going through a tunnel. And it's almost, a spiritual experience. And I'm not, overstating that. It's really, really, a wonderful, environmental feature.
Just to let you know, when you Google what an alley is, the first thing that comes up from an image is from thingsthatinspire.net. So that
How about
makes
that?
sense.
And then the next place was Patterson Farm, the Mirror Lake Road. And I think that's one of the places we're thinking about planting them, Linda. Was that? So.
Well, I think that was going to be a mix. That was going to be a mix of trying to get a contractor to install bigger trees and then volunteers to install shrubs.
Mhm. All right. And then King's Kingdom is only 8 trees. It actually would really help the view there, the scenery there, because there's no trees around King's Kingdom, especially toward the parking lot. So that might be a good one for the township to do, or it'd be an easy one for us to do too. And the community pool trees are kind of nearby, and put a few of those in. There's not very many of those either. So maybe we should all just think about this, especially you, Linda, and maybe we can propose what are we thinking? 2 township tree planting places and 1 EAC planting place for next year, or
Yeah, definitely at least one of each. If we can get 2 township tree plantings, then yes, but at least one of each.
okay.
is the planting over by BAME, is that off the table or?
That's not going to happen until I think BAME does their
The
restorations or whatever they're
Green
doing
Bank
there. But
restoration.
yeah, because there's got to be some stream bag work that has to get done there.
Okay.
But the MS4 submittal will tell us something about that. Maybe it'll give a time frame. So yeah, maybe next month we'll know a lot about this when things are happening.
That might be a
But yeah, that's another
2023
place.
project.
Mhm.
And then I had sent one that Jim Majewski talked about, brought it to me last night at Memorial Park.
Right.
There's the tributary there that he was saying could use some riparian planting. The only thing is, I think he was, if I recall correctly, there's a few invasives that need to be treated first before we start anything. I want to walk out there and see what it looks like, but that could be a potential project either for next year or for 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, also in the Memorial Garden, I just remembered too that we were going to replace probably, I think it was 3 trees in the Compass Arboretum too. And I think that certainly can be separate from all this. Now, these are going to be decent caliber trees, and this is really beyond the work that volunteers could take care of. You're talking about tree balls that are possibly a couple of 100 pounds. But we didn't do that last year because the species that we were thinking about planting just didn't do well in fall plantings. They do a lot better in spring plantings. So probably early next year, I'll get into that again. We'll talk about it, and then we'll find out, where we in fact have to order these and what have you. I think the rough rule of thumb that we're using, the larger trees are really beyond the capability of volunteers to take care of. When you get into 2.5 or 3 inch caliber trees, I mean, these things are pretty heavy. But the smaller stuff, especially the shrubs, for instance, maybe along Patterson, if we have that formal alley of maples along the road, and then all along the stream bank, maybe understory trees and shrubs, that would be an ideal place for volunteers to work.
The one issue with Patterson Mirror Lake Road is there is a lot of white mulberry in there. So we want to think about whether we want to try and spray or cut down some of that to minimize invasives. There's some understory invasive growth too. So I want to talk to Greg about that and see if there's something that his guys can do if we do decide to do that one in the fall, to do some herbicide spraying in the spring.
Yeah. And that's right along the creek, the mulberry. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go look for it.
Don't go around it.
Yeah. So maybe for our January meeting, we'll come up with a proposal and we can discuss that and vote on it. Yeah. Then you, me, and Jim, and everybody else can work on it.
Sure.
All right.
Brings us to you.
Neat. All right. Land use plans. No real changes, especially in these 3 projects I listed. The deck lot subdivision, or it's not a subdivision, that's right. It's just development site near Jim and Jean's house. It had a special meeting on November 30th. They went the whole evening and they didn't finish, so they have another one scheduled for December 21st. So maybe that issue will finally get decided one way or the other on the 21st. Bucks County Smiles office building, that's at the corner of Oxford Valley and Dobry Road. They were going to go before the zoning board and then they requested a delay. I think the issue is they want 70 parking spots, which is well above what the ordinance requires. And I think they're negotiating with the township on that number. So that'll be sometime in the future. And the last one's the Point at Edgewood Village. They are going to go, they were before the supervisors. Was it the 1st, December 1st? And there's some objections. It's a dense pack. It's like 3/4 of an acre lot. They got 2 existing houses. They want to put in 3 more buildings with 4, and 6 apartments, and then like 21 parking spots. So it's pretty dense pack now. It went before HARP last night, the Historic Architectural Review Board, and they had issues with it too. So I think they're going to try to redesign it. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, Alan, just
I think that it's 4th time before HARP, and it's
Yeah.
4th redesignation. And the only reason it was in front of the supervisors is because they were coming through for their zoning like.
Variances, yeah.
Yeah, and
variances.
I thought it would make sense that people would hear it, the public would get a chance to hear it, because otherwise, things just suddenly pop up.
Mhm.
So that's what they were doing, was presenting their vision.
Mhm.
Yeah, just a personal observation too. That's kind of a crowded area. It's a very difficult area from a traffic viewpoint, but because when you pull into from Edgewood Road into Yardley Langhorne Road, you really have to pull out far. And I can't see additional apartments there. I mean, the road's already bad. And I think with the addition of anything else there, what you're talking about is turning something that's bad into a nightmare.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens.
They could maybe get one building in there, but yeah, 3 is pushing. 3 new ones. Fix up the 2 old houses. That'd be good.
So like one of the old houses has 6-foot ceilings and stone walls.
For one of our smaller residents could live there.
Perfect for me.
And, well, you won't really be able to turn around, Linda, because by the time you bring in piping and electrical and then put up drywall, I don't know how much space you're gonna have.
I'm just talking height wise.
Yeah, no, I got it. I'll visit from outside. So it's a complicated issue. I certainly don't know what the answer is, right? But if we want those buildings to be preserved,
Mm-hmm. Have to be somewhat
some kind of compromise.
revised. Yeah, they have to change it somewhat. Okay. Recycling.
Recycling.
Okay, so we're all set for January 8th. Is anybody going to come and help? Feel
Yeah.
free. Good.
I
Paul.
will.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Raise your hand.
Yeah, I'll
All right.
raise him.
okay. More the merrier. Let's hope for the weather. I've plastered the township with flyers, and Sumya, I think the flyers are correct and is saying that you keep the tops and take off the labels. So that's been an issue.
You're on mute, Sumya.
You have the right flyer, but the township website, I mean, the Facebook page has a wrong one.
Yeah, I sent Monica a corrected one. Hopefully she'll get it up there. I sent it to
Yeah,
her
it's not
Friday.
yet been corrected.
Yeah. Well,
So if there's a corrected one, send it to me, because she may just think it's a duplicate version. Because I had sent her
Yeah,
the one
and
you sent me.
the version you've sent, Monica, has doesn't have the full information, which makes things very explicit as to how they're supposed to, what styrofoam is accepted, what kind of pill bottles are accepted. I think the flyer you've sent has proper information. So the short information you've given her is misleading.
well,
I
she
sent-
developed the short information. I just sent her the
Yeah.
flyer and she kind of changed it around. So
She changed it around. You can just tell her to just use the original correct flyer, because in cutting
Alan,
it
if you
short,
could just send me the correct flyer and I'll send it to her. Because I did just send her the one you guys sent me. So if this
I
is
already
better.
sent her the correct one, the latest one.
I think she probably is getting flyer overload and now can't tell which is what. So if you could just send it to me and I'll send it to her and say, this is the correct one. And we'll try to get it switched. Because if you sent it, I sent it, and Alan sent it, and she had posted mine already, she's probably just like,
overwhelmed.
On another note, the stray cat project is also going to be there. They've contacted me. I forget who was on the email chain. So I'm going to be there at one point. It all depends on my child's schedule. I don't know if I'll be there the whole time, so they don't know what time they're going to be there. They're going to be bringing a van. Keep only the bigger styrofoam boxes.
Yeah.
Yes. Keep them aside, and they will take all of whatever comes in.
that's fabulous. Sometimes too, like I take some of the, the ones that they rejected in the past because they weren't big enough, you can sometimes bring them down to the shipping store in Yardley because they would like a few of them, they reuse them, but
Mhm.
just what I do with styrofoam.
And at this point, I don't know if there's any more publicity we should be doing on this.
I know
We
that
We
they've
should be
been,
putting some stuff on Facebook.
We should get the right flyer out there, so.
Yeah, get me the right
Yeah, I
flyer.
have the right flyer out wherever I have posted. It's the township flyer, which is incorrect.
Right,
So-
again,
I know Kurt's been mentioning it at least at the last two meetings, so it's being mentioned during the board meetings.
Suzanne
Yeah.
mentions it, right?
Suzanne got it onto the community announcements.
Yeah. So,
Suzanne, which email should I send it to you? I have two for you.
You should only use the sblundy@lmt.org, please.
Okay, I had another Gmail one for you.
all right, Sumia, you said you already posted it on Lower Makefield is a great place to live.
And many more. There
Okay.
are, I think, 3 local websites,
Mhm.
and there is one Bucks County one, and there are 2 Bucks County ones.
Okay, well, we should all make comments on that because that bumps it up to the top when you start commenting on it. So people will see it again, because right now it's probably buried. So I'll make a few idiotic remarks and get it bumped up there. Yeah.
Under which of your handles?
What's my handles? I only have one handle. The infamous Sadie Apollo. Yeah.
Or how about the infamous tree hugging guy?
Well, I don't have that Facebook moniker. Yeah, my daughter
Suzanne,
created
I've
that.
sent you the flyer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then we have there was a meeting between myself, Jean, and Jonah with Monica on December 9th about recycling in the parks. Does
And
anybody
Jean
want-
wrote up some notes from the meeting too.
Yeah, and I don't know how much you want us to go into that, but we could send you the notes if anybody's interested. All right, well, we're gonna meet again on January 10th.
January 10th, and
Yeah.
we'll be inviting, or we have invited, and Heather Guidus of Kona Compost is going to be joining us for that meeting on January 10th.
And I'm looking into how to get money to buy these recycling bins. The state has a couple of grants, so we're gonna look into that. And also the plan was to vote on purchasing a recycle bin and maybe a companion trash bin for the parks with our budget. But Monica, I proposed 3 to Monica and she never got back to me. I did remind her about it a couple hours ago, but I still haven't gotten anything. So should we vote on this or?
May I
don't
make
know.
a suggestion, Alan?
Sure, yeah.
In the absence of our not being able to see Monica's choice, and recognizing that our budget that we can, whatever amount of our budget we can lend towards this initiative will run out by the end of the month, there is a timeliness to this. Are we able to make a motion to entrust Alan with approving on behalf of the committee whatever Monica sends
One
along?
second for Monica. Yeah, we could get 2 of them for roughly 2,000 that are not connected, and then there's 2 options where they're connected, and they're one's 1,600 something, and the other one's 2,400 something. So we could just vote to get whatever Monica thinks is best, and if she doesn't decide on one that's best, we just won't do it. But if we vote to purchase whichever one she thinks is best for the parks, is that good?
You want to do a not to exceed, right? We authorize, the EAC authorized.
Yeah, not to exceed 2,500, that's good.
Ellen, I'm just having a thought. Sorry, I didn't have it in the last few meetings, but it just occurred to me. Are we forgetting TerraCycle? If we buy their boxes instead, won't they, the recycling is taken care of?
Well, are they for outdoors though? These have
They
to
have
be
it for
really
every,
sturdy.
all needs.
Well, At this
Because
point,
then the township doesn't have to worry about emptying them and doing whatever, it's like hiring TerraCycle service through their boxes might be a great idea for this.
I don't
Well-
know that you could put a private company
yeah,
on public land just by this informal of a process. Maybe you can, I just don't know.
right now, Waste Management collects the township's trash, and they come to the parks every week and they get the trash and any recyclables, because there are a few recyclable containers there. So they're already coming there to get it, so it wouldn't be a big deal for them just to pick up one more.
Yeah, I personally think we should entrust Alan to talk to Monica and, between them, come up with some kind of a plan and the amount not to exceed 2,500. I looked at the three choices Alan was talking about, and I kind of favored the two lower price ones. So I think two of those for around $1,800, something like that. But whatever you guys come up with is fine with me, and I'm willing to make a motion to that. To that fact.
A motion to authorize Alan on behalf of the EAC to be in dialogue with Monica and to have the authority to approve on our behalf the
I
recycling.
second it.
Great.
All right,
All right, all in favor?
I don't know if you all heard Jonah, but it said not to exceed 2,500. That was part of the motion.
Yes.
That's right. Yep. Okay.
all right. All right, we're all in favor?
Aye. Yep.
All right,
Yep,
I will keep you posted on what happens.
very good.
All right, before we get totally off this topic, though, I had suggested something, to Gene, Allen, and I guess it was Jonah too. And that was a carry out feature. I've seen this in a lot of the parks, and it seems to work very effectively. I've seen it up at over in Washington Crossing Park in New Jersey. I've seen it up at Washington Crossing in Pennsylvania. And Monica's reaction, I think initial was maybe talk to the people over 5 Mile Woods, which might be an ideal place to start because they only have 2 trash bins. So I think what I'll do next year is I know the people over there. So maybe I'll have just a little informal talk with them, because this, I think, quite frankly, could be a long-term solution, even in some of the larger parks. But I think what we have to do is, walk before we run on this thing. Let's try it maybe in the 5 Mile Woods. If we have good luck there, maybe some of the smaller recreation areas through the township. And then let's see if possibly in the future, this could be part and parcel of, the plan in some of our larger parks and recreation areas. So I'm going to take a look at that early next year.
Okay.
Jim, a quick response to that. My sense is that with trails and with spaces that are mostly inhabited by adults, it is easier to not necessarily enforce, but to rely on the effectiveness of a carry in, carry out policy. I think that with what we see in terms of the trash that is picked up before 7 a.m. even hits within the town, at least this is from what we heard from Monica when Jean, Allen, and I met with her, it seems that there really is quite a lot of litter that presumably kids are leaving behind in many of our outdoor recreational facilities, which means that we have a lot of education to go before we could get to carry in, carry out. I don't think it's a bad goal. I think that we might not be ready, though.
Yeah, I mean, you raise a good point, Jonah. My feeling is that we start out, in an area where there's not a lot of trash, but I've seen these in big picnic areas where a lot of children come, and basically the adults have to, monitor the children. I like the idea because it puts the onus on the people who are using the park themselves. And if everybody chips in, it's rather an easy thing to do. I would hope in a township like ours that we don't have a huge issue like that, but that remains to be seen in the future. But let's start out maybe over at 5 Mile Woods and see what kind of input we get as far as that's concerned. And then if we get some good input there, maybe we start considering moving forward in other areas next year. But thanks for your input, Jonah.
Thank you.
All right, so that brings us to plastic bag reduction. Any updates, Jonah?
Yes. So I'm just going to share screen a moment. I did send out to everybody here. I believe I sent Chair Blendy, I think I sent this to you as well, to review a single-use plastic bag survey. You're looking at the not the version that folks would see if they were taking it, but just sort of my editor's version of it. I would like to be able to send out a short survey that we can distribute digitally via the LMT Facebook page and any other, and email, and however else we may be in touch with our constituents. I want to do a short survey so that folks feel that they have the time to take it. There are very few questions, and one question that has come up a few times in responses to the survey, such that Jean mentioned it, and a member of another environmental advisory council whom I showed this to, he and I were talking, is it worthwhile to have this question that's repeated of if LMT required customers to pay a 10-cent fine per single-use plastic bag, you would pay the fine per bag, bring a reusable bag, shop somewhere else. And change the question then to 25 cents, then change the question to 50 cents, then change the question to $1. The reason why I included that in the survey is purely informational so that we can get real quantitative data about something that is very hard to quantify. And the thing that I want to quantify for our understanding is what is the tipping point before someone decides that either they are going to pay the fine, or they're going to shop somewhere else, or they're going to just get in the habit of using a reusable bag. So I am curious for your feedback, and I also want to know the next steps before we can make this full survey a reality. And Jean, I did see one thing that you did suggest via email to me earlier today was a question that I think is, it's a good question, but I think that it's hard to really make use of the data, and it might slow down people while taking the survey such that they might feel disinclined to finish it, which was a question of why do you or don't you bring a reusable bag when you go shopping? It's a good thing to ask people to reflect on. I'm not sure that we can get much out of it, but those are just initial thoughts. I'm happy to open up for discussion.
Yeah, Jonah, my feeling is that why don't, we're running out of time now. Why don't you send a copy of this to everybody so we can review it and then possibly, move forward with it the next meeting we have in January?
Sure, I can resend this. And I'm curious, I'm sorry if you hear all sorts of interesting sounds in the back. It's a lively household.
Children or birds?
Yeah, yes, it's a good question. But I did send this out. I might not have sent it out with sufficient time because we were focused on the tree ordinance, perhaps. But do folks sense that we'll be able to discuss this more productively next time, if given a month to look over this?
Can I ask you a question, Jonah?
Absolutely.
I think, a dollar, do you know of anybody that, when you were in your research, what was the highest charge for a plastic bag at a store?
I'm not sure what the highest amount is. And quite frankly, I've never really heard an amount that when I heard the amount, I thought, well, just on that amount alone, I'm going to stop using reusable, or I'm going to stop using single-use bags. I'm not sure if
Right.
anyone here has encountered any such scenario, but they always seem to be such minuscule costs that for people who don't care, I can't really imagine why people might not just want to pay 5 extra cents or 10 extra cents. I think 25 might be the most they've ever heard.
Yeah, in Berkeley, my daughter goes to Berkeley, so it's 25 cents. At
Right.
any restaurant, store, or whatever, it's 25. Nordstrom's, you name it, 25 cents.
Yeah,
Yeah,
25 cents seems to be about the upper limit, I think.
right. I just don't, I mean, I love the idea of the survey, but I just don't understand why you're going to $1 when, well, I guess I understand it more when, yeah, as you introduced it, that you're, yeah,
Well, you're trying to find a tipping point. so-
yeah.
Right.
I had a couple of observations. I think I tried out your survey and filled up a response also. So, so my first observation is that you have a lot of questions just asking about, would you pay X amount, then an X amount. There were 4 or 5 questions with different amounts. Could you convert that into one question with multiple choice? Is that possible in the survey form?
I hear what you're saying, Sumya. My question, it is definitely technically possible. It's easy to do that. My only question is, if we want someone to read the survey and report back honestly, I think that it might be harder for folks before they're asked the question in full several times to, I'm just guessing here, but I would guess that it would take multiple times of hearing the same question with different quantities each time
Well,
to
in
really
that case,
process.
if you just make it 2, it's okay. Otherwise, it is, honestly, I would just close the survey and not, because like what, I'm getting the same question, I already answered it. Like there's a bit of annoyance with that because you have too many of them.
Sure.
So if you want repetition, maybe if you just keep it to 2.
Well, these are the kind of questions that we could get in next month. When we have a copy of this, we are able to analyze it before the meeting and then bring pertinent questions like Sumya is talking about right now to the meeting and then make a decision in January as to what we want to do with this survey. I personally think the survey is a real good idea.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just to close, my other point was, how about adding a question on incentives? Because I did hear a long time back, 20 years back, I don't know whether it still operates. There was a cooperative store in Princeton area, which was giving a small amount of money back if you brought your own bag. So here you're talking of penalty, but if they got a few cents back, would that help change their thinking? And it's not, they're not going to make money out of it, but is that an incentive good enough to tip their thinking or behavior?
Yeah,
Like you get a few cents back. Some stores have done that. That's why I thought of it.
Right. The sole reason that I did not include that, and as you're saying this, I'm rethinking my poor justification. I don't think it's worth my sharing a poor justification for this. That's a waste of everyone's time. Okay, I can include that. Thank you, Sumya, for that suggestion.
Next time, you can please share the justification as well. I'm sure it's important.
Okay, well, for those who really want to dive deep into the dysfunction of my brain on occasion, I was thinking that this would be perhaps giving people hope for something that would be out of our hands, because I think that whereas the township probably is in the position to enact a fine, I don't know if the township is in the position of either requiring businesses to reward people for using a reusable bag, and I don't think that the township is in the position of paying people back for using a reusable bag. So I just wouldn't want to give people false hope. But it could be still vital information if we are reporting to major businesses locally saying, by the way, if you had a 5 cents back policy for everyone who uses a reusable bag, you'd get more reusable bags. You'd save money on the plastic bags that you're buying to keep the customers happy. So it is still useful data, and I wish that part of my brain just had never woken up. Thank you, Sumya, for that.
All right.
We've got 5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right. Well, I know that Paul sent out a recent newsletter. Any other updates on newsletter, webpage? That kind of all came in with the styrofoam stuff also.
No.
Nope, nothing. All right.
I'll just send out an update for right after July 1st, January 1st. To
Okay.
remind people.
To remind people. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Environmental Stewardship Award. Jim, I'm assuming, do we have a date for when the award's going to be given?
No, that's the question I wanted to ask Suzanne. I'm assuming generally what we do is the second meeting in January or the first or second meeting in February. I would hope it could either be one of those, mostly from a personal viewpoint, because I think we're going to be taking off probably in mid-February sometime for a month. I'm in the process right now writing up the data for the award plaque. We always get that made at a local place up in Washington Crossing. The cost is roughly, I think, around $100. They do a real nice job on that. And I guess, Suzanne, you probably, I assume you're probably not going to be the chair next year, but do you have any influence now in setting up maybe an agenda, or we have to wait till the new chair comes?
Yeah, so I would imagine, like, this isn't anything that's going to be controversial or anything like that. I'm sure the new chair, and I can say this, I'm sure whoever it's going to be, because there's only one of she, I'm sure he will be happy to put it on whatever agenda works. So.
Yeah, sometimes though the problem is the first meeting is reorganization, and the second one sometimes is just so jammed full of stuff. But this takes about 10 or 15 minutes. Historically, we always do it right in the beginning of the meeting, so people don't have to, have the painful experience of sitting there for the next 3 or 4 hours.
This will be my 5th time, James, being part of because this is my 5th year as a supervisor. So I'm sure it will be easy to get to an agenda. I'm happy for you to send me the email, and I will follow up with whoever he is to try to get it on either the 2nd January meeting or the 1st February meeting.
All right. As soon as I have the plaque, designed, and I'll get in touch with you, Suzanne. I'll send you the information.
You may have a new liaison by then. So if that's the case, then you can just work with whoever he is.
Okay.
If it's not she.
Well, that's not going to happen until next year. I guess, when did he decide that? During the reorganization meeting, I guess, in early January. I think it's the first Monday of the new year.
First Tuesday.
First Tuesday of the new year. Okay. All right. That sounds good. Thank you.
Odds and ends, anything new, Kevin? Mostly you there? Suzanne?
So we had talked very briefly sometime during the year about maybe trying to get like that daffodil planting thing going. So I guess what I'm asking, given all that you've got going, do you guys want to own it? Do you want me to try to push it to like a special event, or I could just do it, me working on my own? Like, do you have any interest in trying to, create another day of work where we work towards, naturalizing and beautifying the township? Don't all jump at once. You can think about it. I'll think about it too, because maybe we'll see each other again in this relationship in January. I certainly hope we'll see each other again in every month, in some relationship, so we can figure it out.
Yeah, in the past, I've actually seen some of these daffodil naturalizations, and I know it's not a native plant per se, but it's quite pretty to look at, though. And
oh, I'm sorry.
Who actually did the work
Because
there?
if they're no good, I thought they were good because Bucks County had a whole planting initiative. So if they're no good, then I'll back away.
Yep. Yeah, they're, well, all, just about all bulbs are, from, are introduced, but, I'm a pretty purist, but we have some non-natives on the property. They're not invasive, and I'm not about to rip them out. When they die, I generally replace them with natives. But the bulbs are kind of a different matter. But I've seen that naturalization with the daffodils up and down the canal. I don't know who was responsible for it, but it was quite attractive, though.
Yeah, they also did a big planting over at the Garden of Reflection, and it's pretty stunning. There was a lot at Woodside and Taylorsville, but I think with all the work that Delaware River did to reconfigure that space, they're gone. So, I am focused on, like, not that I don't care about the whole township. I clearly care about the whole township, but specifically the gateways to our township and trying to, spruce up their appearance. All right. Right
So-
now, we could be talking and there could be a holiday party going on in the township.
Yeah. Is there?
Oh,
That's
is
where
that
Paul
where?
has to go.
Oh,
The Democratic Club is. That's where I'm headed.
Yeah.
Meet the candidates for running for Congress.
Oh, is
Kevin,
that
do you
woman? Who's there, Paul?
Later will be this woman, Ashley, I can't pronounce her last name. This other guy from Yardley Borough who's a former Navy aviator. It's Paul something brother, and it's a third person. They're throwing their hat in the ring.
Is Ashley a former, she a West Pointer?
Yeah, she's a West Pointer.
She's got some pretty impressive.
Yeah, she's a
Air has, I
helicopter
think, right?
pilot.
I'm sorry, what, Jonah?
Air has, I think. Is that right?
I'm not
I
sure.
don't know how to pronounce it. ERHARTZ. Something like that.
Single mother. Anyway. Okay, sorry, digressing.
All
Back
right.
on agenda. Linda.
Kevin, is there anything new on the energy improvement proposals? I know there's a couple things out there. Kevin,
Yes, I've been working with Jonah on some things, but I really need to kick it into high gear next year.
yeah, we need to put you guys earlier in the agenda because we never get down to your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And I-
interesting feedback on the newsletter. Someone from Newtown is complaining about the light from what's the thing there with the light show and everything and the haunted hayride.
Shady Brook Farm.
Brooke?
Shady
Shady
Brook
Brook?
Farms, yeah, the light pollution from there.
All right, I'll go unplug it.
Hey,
Have
as long as
fun.
we're talking about light pollution. At Bright Farms?
Shady Brook Farms.
Shady Brook.
No, I'm asking you a different
Oh.
question. The light at the greenhouses at Bright Farms?
Oh.
Anybody?
Are they taking the buildings down? Are they?
Thank you very much, Alan Dresser.
Yeah, they are? Good. Can we help?
Can we help?
The contractors have been out
It
there.
won't look like an X-Files movie set.
So are they done or they're getting close?
I think, to be fair, I think they actually just started, but they are still paying their rent, but they will soon be a thing of the past.
So there'll be corn there next year.
Well, we can only hope, but certainly their obligation is to return the soil to
Right.
the way it was.
I remember that. Yeah,
So
that's good.
We shall see.
And the sewer sale's still going through, so I should continue to work on this letter suggesting what we could spend the money on.
well, I would say that the sewer sale is likely to go through as it was yesterday or tomorrow, right? I mean, I don't know how the inner workings of the government.
The PUC still hasn't given approval yet, though. Okay. All right, looks like they gave us more than an hour.
Yeah.
I would like to point out, by the way, Suzanne, that I got your name right every single time tonight, okay?
A round
end.
of applause.
That's probably your Christmas present from Jim.
I'll
It shows even when you get older, you can still learn, right?
On that note, we probably should end so he doesn't mess it up.
Yeah.
But, sorry,
Hey,
Jim.
guys, enjoy the rest of the year.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
I hope
everyone.
everybody has
Happy
a good one.
holidays.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Bye, guys.
Happy New
All
Year.
right.
Happy holidays.